So guys, I watched Living Single. I absolutely loved this show. If you haven't heard of this classic, then what are you doing? You need to go watch it right now. Living Single is about a group of young adults and their everyday life in New York. They deal with relationships, jobs, and their friendships. It's a classic sitcom that everyone should watch if you haven't already. That will be your basic description of the show. I don't want to give too much away, but it's about these group of friends. It's hilarious. The show was amazing, and I can't believe I haven't watched it until now, at least all the way through. Classic sitcom in the 90s. The jokes, at least in my opinion, a lot of them still hold up. It's so funny. I don't know if there's anything currently similar to this, but y'all, it's great. I loved it. I'm going to get more spoilers about the show now. So if you don't care, keep listening. If you do care and you want to just watch the show yourself, go ahead and head off and then come back after you finish and let me know your thoughts. Now we are in spoiler territory. Let's get more into the show. So we follow this main group of friends. We have Khadijah, Sinclair, Regine, and they live in one apartment. Khadijah and Sinclair are cousins. Regine is the childhood best friend that they grew up with. And then we do have another friend, Maxine, who doesn't live with them, but she's basically over at their apartment all the time. She basically lives with them. And she's friends with Khadijah, and they knew each other since college. Here are some of the relationship dynamics. Maxine and Regine absolutely hate each other. Every time they're in the same room together, they just end up fighting, arguing, throwing insults at each other, but it makes for great comedy. It's kind of like a hate-love relationship, more leaning on the hate. Or maybe it's like a hate-tolerate relationship just because they have some mutual friends. So those are the four main women, but then we also have the two main guys of the show, and that's Overton and Kyle. And they happen to be their upstairs neighbors in the apartment building that Khadijah, Sinclair, and Regine live in. Overton and Kyle are actually best friends. They have known each other since they were little. It is definitely an interesting dynamic because they're both so different, but it's like the perfect combination how they're both opposites, but they work together and they're best friends. And honestly, for the entire show, they're all different, but the combination of people for the show really does work. So let's get more into the characters, I guess. Regine, she loves fashion. She always has a wig on every day. She makes sure she looks her best, and she loves men as well. And she wants to find a rich man and live happily ever after. Khadijah, she is a businesswoman. She owns her own magazine called Flavor. She is a working woman, and I love how independent she is. And she's kind of the mutual friend, at least all the girls know, or women, I should say. Maxine, that woman is tough. She is a lawyer. She is confident, and she will win a case for you. But she also loves food. Like every time she's in their apartment, she's eating, and we love her for it. Sinclair, she is not the sharpest tool in the shed, but she is so kind and so giving, and she's very nice to all the girls, but she's so sweet. Overton is the handyman, and he loves Sinclair. It's like love at first sight for them, and it's so cute to see all the little things he tries to do for her. He has a crush on her, and she honestly does not know at first because he's doing little by little, but he's not making himself clear. But it's so cute to see how he really likes her and he's crushing on her in the show. And then we have Kyle, the businessman. He works in finance and he takes pride in his appearance as well. He makes sure he always looks good. But another relationship that is enemies is Max and Kyle. They do not like each other. Max, I think she does not like him more than Regine. So it's definitely funny seeing those three in a room, seeing them go at each other. It's hilarious. It makes for a great comedy. I love all the characters in the show. Let me tell you that this show had me laughing out loud so much. I can't believe that I never watched it all the way through before. I've seen episodes here and there, but never from the beginning to end. And let me just tell you, it is worth the watch. So there are, as I mentioned before, like certain dynamics within the show and relationships. So we have Overton and Sinclair. And you always have that one couple in the group that will get together, and that was Overton and Sinclair. They looked good. Well, Overton definitely had a huge crush in the beginning, but we definitely see their relationship start from beginning to end, having a mutual interest in each other, sometimes one more than the other, but then we eventually see them get together. Overton does take his time, and it is slow. And when I say slow, I mean at a snail's pace. Eventually, though, he makes his true feelings known, and Sinclair feels the same way, and they're just so adorable. Another relationship is Kyle and Max. They hate each other. Let me say that the things that they were saying, I would have been hurt to hear it myself, but they were hilarious, just going back and forth. Some say if you can't take it, then don't dish it, and they both definitely can take it, so they be dishing in it to each other hard. But I loved every time they were in a scene together because I was waiting to see that smart remark that they had for each other. I kept wondering throughout the show if the story between them would become a hate to love, and let me tell you that I was right. They got together, and it was a roller coaster. There were highs and lows. It was so many emotions within their relationship. I honestly would have been fine if they got together like they did, or even if they just stayed enemies and kind of had like a hate to friendship. Like, I think I would have been fine either way that they decided to deal with in the show. But yeah, those are the relationships in the show. I'm gonna bring it more towards the ending of the show because it's a sitcom. Every episode is different. It's not like a drama or like this continuing theme or anything. But yeah, each season, just like a regular sitcom or comedy, every episode is different. You don't really need to watch the previous episode to watch the next one. So I'm not really going into too much detail on every season. I'm just going to go towards the last season and how they kind of close everything up. So the last season I did like, but I also was kind of disappointed and sad how some things turned out. So in the last season, Kyle left for a new business opportunity, and they end up adding this new guy to the cast, and he ended up moving in with Regine and Khadijah since Sinclair had moved out after she got married to Overton. Yes, Sinclair and Overton got married finally. So one thing that happens in last seasons a lot, sometimes people leave before the last season, or sometimes a character leaves and they have one more season and the ratings drop, and so that ends up being the last season. And a lot of times characters get replaced. So sometimes characters leave, a show has a season, and then the ratings are so bad that the show ends after that season. I'm not sure how it was for Living Single at the time, but Kyle was basically replaced. So once he left, they added in a new male character, and I didn't really love that they added this new character in. I wish if they did want to introduce new characters, they would have done it sooner, but there was probably a reason why they did it. They wanted to bring more male energy into the show. I'm not sure, I'm just assuming, but it didn't really do it for me. Sometimes a character comes in a last season, you wish they were there longer. Sometimes you wish they never added a new character ever, but it is what it is. Another thing I didn't like was how Regine's ending kind of came place. I liked that she found her happily ever after, but she was not in the final episode after the show. So after she had gotten engaged and moved out, it was kind of like she no longer existed. To me, it was kind of weird that they had her in the last season, but not in the last few episodes. It just felt weird and off. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I haven't really delved into too much research on that, but I wish they had all the original characters at least in the last episode. Like if they just brought her back for that last episode, even though she was gone for some of the previous ones. But overall, the final episode I did enjoy. It was sad and a sweet one. It had everyone moving on with their life and what the new futures would have. It was all that you would have expect of a happy ending to a show. So I was definitely satisfied with the ending of the show. There are some things I didn't love, some things I wish that happened, but I liked how everyone was moving on. Everyone was happy. You get to see the show alluding to what the futures of each character would be. And that's what I enjoyed the most about it, seeing that, you know, they might not say things specifically, but alluding that there is a future here, there's a possibility, and this character will be happy and okay. I think that's all I really want for an ending to the episode. So even though Regine wasn't in the last episode, I think overall the last episode was good, and even bringing it to close the last season wasn't terrible. Just I wish all the characters had been there for the final goodbye. But yeah, if I had to give this show a rating, if you haven't already guessed, it's gonna be 5 stars, guys. I loved it. I think I was a little surprised on how much I really did like it. I think just because of the time period it came out in. This came out in the 90s, and I wasn't really sure if, you know, I'd still find it funny, if it would age well, or how if I, you know, even get some of the jokes that they made in this time. But it is safe to say it holds up. I love. If you need a really good comedy, go watch. It was just so good. I feel like at the time it was just good TV. It wasn't, maybe some things were corny, but overall I found a lot of the jokes they made really, really funny. I will definitely be putting this on my want to rewatch list because I loved it. If you are someone who likes comedies, sitcoms, this is definitely something to put on your list. I loved it. I watched all the seasons on Hulu, so you can definitely go there and check this out. It was great. I just put it on leisurely, when I had nothing to watch. If I just wanted something on the TV, I would put it on. I would have a good laugh. I would have a good time. If I was having a bad day, I put it on, and it was great. It definitely made my mood change, made me happier just having that comedy to watch. But yeah, that is what I thought of Living Single. I loved it. How could you not? And there is this, maybe not a huge debate, but in my opinion, this show is better than Friends. Y'all can come at me. I don't care. This show is better than Friends. And let me just tell you, that is my opinion. It can also be fact, but that's my opinion. You can also have a different opinion, but I'm sorry. I've seen Friends and it just wasn't for me. Definitely there are some funny instances, funny parts in Friends, some funny scenes, but this just had me laughing more. This had me enjoying it more. Loved it. If you guys have watched Living Single, please let me know your thoughts. What did you think? Did you love it? Did you not like it? And you can also put your thoughts, your 2 cents on whether Friends or Living Single is better. If you have not seen both, don't even bother commenting. Okay, maybe you can comment what you like, but if you have not seen both, you cannot give a great assessment on the two. That's all I'm saying. I know there are a lot of people who are Friends fans out there, so you guys can go ahead and like your Friends, but I'm just going to be over here saying I love Living Single, and I will watch it forever and ever, rewatch it again and again. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review, this gushing over of Living Single and how much I loved it. If you guys want any more TV content, you can definitely go check out my website below. Feel free to follow me on any of my socials. I will link them all below as well. And feel free to subscribe as well if you like this video and you want to see more content like this. And as always, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, week, month, and a hopefully good rest of your year. I know it's almost over, but I hope you have a good rest of it. And until next time, bye.